Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Myth-Busting Locksmith. Admittedly, it has been a little while, so welcome back. I have now arrived. I've simply been so busy working. I've been doing Monday to Friday 12-hour shifts and doing locksmith work on the weekends, so I simply haven't had time to do any videos. Now, on a myth-busting front today, I would like to clarify something which I have been investigating and researching for quite a while now, because I keep getting mixed messages and misinformation, and I have learned through experience that I can now stand by what I am about to tell you. Here you can see there are a variety of mortise locks. There are different types, some with a sash element, some without a sash element. There is Old Yale, I believe, there are Era Fortress, there are Union locks, and so on. And there are as many different colours as there are different types. Now, as you can see along the back here, there are a various selection of sizes and thicknesses of different screws. You have fat ones, long ones, pointed ones. You have skinny ones with a flat end. You have long ones with a pointed end which are slim. You have others which are long with no point, and you have fatter ones with a point and fat ones which are shorter with no point. Now, all of the pins here and all of the pins there have all come with or for the purpose of securing a lock in a door. Now, the question I had a long time ago when I saw that a lock had been put in a door and the faceplate had been put over in such a way you could not see the screw because it was so sunk back in the door that you would need a very long screwdriver to get to it, and it was not securing the faceplate, although two other screws at the top and bottom were. So my question to people was, do I need to use the screw that is provided with the lock in the door? So when a new lock comes along and I open it up, it comes with a lock, it comes with two keys, it comes with a keep, it comes with a faceplate, and it comes with a specific type of screw. So many people told me, yes, you must always use the screw that is provided with the lock to put it into the door and secure it. Well, I would like to smash this myth to pieces. It is not true. You do not have to use the screw which comes with the lock in the door when you are fitting it. You can in fact use the original screw that's there, or you can use another screw that is designed to secure a lock in its place. It's whatever works, it's whatever fits, and it needs to be solid and secure and flush. Now, I know I'm going to get a backlash from this, and people will agree and other people will disagree, and they will come out with all sorts of arguments. But I have found that you have to use the screw that is best suited for the lock. I have tried replacing a lock and using the screw that was supplied with the lock, and I found it was too long and actually pushed the back of the lock out, and it caused the mechanism to jam. The door wouldn't work properly, and when we looked into it and removed the screw, the mechanism was jamming because the screw was too long and it was causing damage. I have in other places used screws that are too long, and it has caused the lock not to lock properly unless I have loosened it, meaning that the screw was not flush and was sticking out slightly, but the door would lock. But when I have gone back and replaced it with a different length screw, it has worked perfectly. I have found screws are too fat to fit in thin holes, and screws are too thin to fit in fat holes, and they have caused the lock not to fit properly and to be loose or too tight fitting, or simply jamming up the mechanism or causing it to fail. Now, 90% of the locks that I have fitted, I have gone back and used the original screw, although I have cleaned it up, given it some GT85 spray. Never ever WD-40, otherwise you will get a slap in the chops, because the only time you use WD-40 is when it contains PTFEs. Otherwise, GT85 spray all the way. So I've cleaned up the screw, I have put up the original screw into the lock, into the door with the new lock, and it has worked perfectly. So, a short one today, but an important one. You do not need to use the screw that comes with the lock or is supplied with the lock and escutcheons to fit it into the door when you are replacing a lock. You can use the original screw that came with the original lock, or you can use the screw that is currently in the door, because it is doing a good job, it is doing a secure job, and at the end of the day, the lock has to work, it has to be secure, and the screw needs to be flush with its fitting. So although you have a wide variety here of lengths and thicknesses, with point, without point, with large heads and with small heads, and these here which have all come and are specifically for securing a lock in a door. You do not have to use the one it came with. It is a myth. I am busting it, because if you look here, if they supply this screw when they have already had this screw holding the previous lock, this potentially could be too long. If they're supplying this one and you originally used this one, then the screw could be too short. I can go on. This could be too fat. This could be too skinny, and so on. There are many variations and there are many reasons. So, to clarify, don't let people tell you that you have to use the screw that comes with the lock in the door to fit the lock, because you don't. It will not always work, it will not always fit, and it will cause you problems. And the amount of times that I come across this is infuriating, because you look at it and think, who fitted this in the first place? So, it's been a long time since I've been here, so I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll come and visit me for more. But I felt it prudent to come back now and explain this, because it is a very important point which I have had arguments with people over, and I get variations and explanations from different people for different reasons over. But at the end of the day, a square peg does not fit in a round hole. A round peg will not fit in a square hole. If the screw in the door holding the lock is flush, is secure, is well fitted, you do not need to replace the screw with another screw. And if you do, use the one of the same type, the same length, the same width, the same size, with a point or without point. It is so important to get the right screw with the right lock, with the right escutcheon in the right door. You mess this up, you failed, you might as well find a new career. That is all I have to say. Bring on the disagreement and the arguments. I am ready to hear your point of view. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do join me for more, and if you subscribe, then you'll get notified as to more things coming up. And if you like it, I know this is the sort of video that you would like, and I can post more like it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.